Hello, everyone, and welcome to Counselor Your Future Friday. I'm your host, Brian Urban. In these features, we hope to give you some simple tips, tidbits, and tricks to make your days easier and your patients happier. In this feature, we're going to talk about restricting appointment availability by staff member, meaning that if you have certain appointment types that you intend to only be provided by certain people on staff. You can restrict that appointment type so that when you go to schedule, let's say a V&G or a tinnitus eval or any sort of specialty testing, obviously there's a wide range of scenarios this could benefit, but you're going to schedule an appointment type and you're trying to schedule it for a provider who is not allowed to do that appointment type, it will stop you there. So what I want to show you first is the setup on this, and then I'll show you how it actually behaves when we're working on the schedule. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on Administration in the top menu bar and then select Appointment Types. Now, in the list of options here, we'll notice in the end there is an option for staff. This is a tool, once again, where we can say all staff have the ability to be scheduled for this specific appointment type, or only we want to specify the staff that have the ability to be scheduled for this appointment type. Okay, and this is an option, of course, that can be selected on an appointment type by appointment type basis. So for example, if we look at an audio, we would say here that, okay, every staff member of the schedule can be scheduled for an audio. Whereas if we look at, let's say, a V&G, right, getting to that more specialty testing type of idea, and we go to that same staff tab, we'll see in what I've already set up here is that Dr. Rogers is the only provider that's available for V&Gs, right? So if we attempted to schedule Dr. Nelson or Barrett or Debbie here, we would get a message letting us know that provider cannot be scheduled for that test, for that appointment type, I should say. And so the settings here, of course, then will reflect what happens on the schedule. So in any appointment type where you wish to implement this, you'd go ahead, you edit the appointment type, go to the staff tab, and then select specify staff and choose the specific staff who apply. And then very importantly, of course, click save. And then those changes will take effect immediately. Now, as part of this process, you may also want to take a look at the online scheduling tab. If you do have online scheduling set up, you may already have this type of idea set up for online scheduling, where you're specifying whether all staff or individual staff are available for this appointment type. So depending on how you wish to manage this, you may want to match these up, right? So your online scheduling matches what you have available for your own team to schedule directly into Counselor. Okay. All right, so let's jump to the schedule itself. Now, to kind of take this example further here, if we were to schedule or attempt to schedule Dr. Barrett for a V&G, if you remember, she is not on the list of allowed providers. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just very quickly locate a patient here. And then we're going to select the V&G option. And let's grab a referral source and click Save. Now, what this is going to do right away is it recognizes that Dr. Barrett is not an approved provider, so one of the selected staff members is not designated for this appointment type. This is also a warning that you cannot override. So if I attempt to go past this, it will not allow me. Okay, so right away you'd know, I need to switch this over. Now you could change this straight away here, right? If it's the same date and time and you see that Dr. Rogers is available, you could make the switch right here, okay? But oftentimes you may want to back out and go to the other provider schedule to make that appointment. That's entirely up to you, okay? Now in this case, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this, and we'll go to Dr. Rogers' schedule. Now, I also want to point out that if you use block scheduling, one of the features within block scheduling is the ability to designate specific appointment types within that block. So in this case here, this is a restricted block, meaning that only V&Gs can be scheduled during this time. And so these features work in tandem. So it does allow you to set up a block that says, okay, we only allow this appointment type during these times on these provider schedules. And then when you go to schedule that appointment, of course, it will make sure that it'll layer on top of this that only certain providers are available for that type of testing. So just to make sure that you're getting the right provider scheduled at the right time. So here when I go ahead on Dr. Rogers' schedule and I go ahead and let's grab a patient again, there we go, and we'll pick our V&G. And then we'll go ahead and book this appointment. And what we'll see is that it did allow that appointment to be scheduled now in Dr. Rogers, whereas it didn't under Dr. Barrett. Now, if there are issues where you see you're trying to schedule a provider who absolutely should be able to provide that test, I would encourage you to go back into the administration, look at the settings for that specific appointment type. You may want to switch it back to all staff or just make sure the appropriate staff are selected. Once you do that, you can go right back to the schedule and book that appointment for the appropriate provider. All right, if you have any questions about this, please give us a call, email us, live chat us. We are always happy to help. Thank you very much for joining us for today's Counselor Your Future Friday. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.